5th of September 2021 Sunday. Let's start off with writing. Part A, writing. Part 1 of Part A, chopping out if. That means knocking if out or removing if out of a sentence to make it shorter, quicker, faster, and more fun. Well, let's see how that is done. So number 1, we got handled carefully. What's the meaning of handled carefully? Handled with care. And it comes from if handled carefully, if you handle something carefully. If something is handled carefully. So, handled with care, handled carefully. Let's see some examples. If handled carefully, a fox can be a good pet. Alright, that's the full sentence. A fox can be a good pet if it's handled carefully. And a fox can be a good pet if handled carefully. So as you can see, all these sentences getting shorter and shorter and faster. So you say the same information but you say it much faster. And the shortest form of the sentence is handled carefully, a fox can be a good pet. That's the shortest form of this sentence. Right. So don't go out and get a fox. It's just a sentence. Some people do keep foxes as pets. Right. Number 2, done nicely. So done in a nice manner, or if done nicely. It comes from if done nicely. Right, if done nicely, a pizza can be delicious to eat. Just an example, all pizzas are delicious. Just an example. A pizza can be delicious to eat if it is done nicely. And a pizza can be delicious to eat if done nicely. The shortest form of all these sentences is done nicely. Just start with done nicely. A pizza can be delicious. And you need not put to eat. If you want, you can. If you don't want to, you need not. Because all pizzas are eaten. That's how you know it's delicious. So the word delicious signifies that you're going to eat it. There's nothing else you can do with it. So, but if you like to put to eat, you can put. If you don't like, it's not wrong at all. Alright, let's see part 2 of part A. Still in the writing section. As much as something or someone is something. Adjective. As much as he or she or it is something. Adjective. Right, let's see. Number 1, slow as I am. Okay, so what's the meaning of slow as I am? Meaning, it means I'm already slow. So here we're using the non-sarcastic tone. This tone does not include sarcasm, so it's just highlighting a fact. It's factual. So the speaker is trying to state the fact that he is slow at something, whatever he's slow at. So this sentence is not finished. So you can see 3 dots means it's not yet finished. It does not mean etc. It means it's still going on. Alright, so let's see the example. Slow as I am to do my homework, I'm just getting started. So he's trying to say that he's already slow at doing his homework, and this time he's so slow that he's just getting started. He's not even gone. He's not even halfway through it. He's just getting started on his homework. Okay, let's go on to number 2. Quick as it is. Right, so meaning it's already quick. Again, non-sarcastic, highlighting a fact. Factual, just stating a fact. So let's see the example. Quick as it is, it's doing 120 miles an hour. So obviously he's talking about a train. So what the speaker is trying to say is this train is already very fast, it's already very quick, and this time it's so fast, so it's so quick that it's doing 120 miles an hour. And some trains do, some people travel by train every day in many countries, and those trains are quite fast. They go to work, they commute, go to work and back home by trains. So you can see Amtrak or TGV in France, they're quite fast, they're quite quick trains. The bullet trains in Japan or off Japan, they're quite fast, and they can do 120 miles an hour sometimes. Usually I think they do 100, 105, something like that. Anyway, let's move on to number 3. Smart as they are, so they're already smart. Again, it's all non-sarcastic. We are just doing non-sarcastic now, we will do sarcastic later on. You can use the same expression, smart as they are, as a form of sarcasm. Right, so now we're just highlighting a fact. We're doing the easy one first. Right, so the speaker is trying to state the fact that they're smart. Right, so smart as they are winning by 40 points. So they're winning by a lot of points, by 40 points. Maybe they're playing a game, or maybe they're playing a quiz show, or they're participating in a quiz show, or they're playing a game like spelling bee or something, and they're winning by 40 points already. Some team is already smart, and this time they're winning by 40 points. Alright, let's go on to number 4. More examples. Careful as I am double checking. Again, it's non-sarcastic. I am already careful, and this time I'm double checking. Even though I'm careful, I've done the job carefully, I'm double checking. I'm making sure, I'm checking again to make sure it's done properly. And careful as he is. Now we come to the sarcasm part, saying the opposite using sarcasm. So careful as he is, he broke the cup. What's the meaning of that? Is he careful? No, he's not really careful. That's why it's called sarcasm. We're just pulling his leg, or using sarcasm, saying something negative and trying to make it sound positive. That's a way of expressing your feelings of frustration, irritation, whatever. Any negative feeling comes out in the way of sarcasm. So careful as he is, he's not careful, but careful as he is, he broke the cup. Alright, so we know how careful he is, or she is. Oh, sorry, he is there, not she is. So we know that this person, that this boy is very careful. Sarcasm, not careful, but we are praising him for being very careful, and he broke the cup. So this is one example, and we'll do more the following weeks where we're using this form in a sarcastic way. So saying the opposite using sarcasm. Alright, let's go on to part B, vocabulary and phrases. Alright, what's a beaten track or a beaten path? So a path, road, or way that's regularly and heavily used. A lot of vehicles, a lot of traffic goes on it every day. It's a beaten track. So the usual methods, or the usual way of doing things, the usual things done by people in life. That's the beaten track or the beaten path. Some of you will follow the beaten path. In fact, most of the people do follow beaten tracks in life. And some people are extremely adventurous in life. They want to do something different. They don't want to continue doing things the way they've always been done. So that's also another example. Alright, let's see some examples of beaten track or beaten paths. Alright, most people these days prefer traveling off beaten tracks, off beaten roads, off beaten paths. They are sick and tired of traffic jams. That's why we see all these off-road adventures and all that stuff coming up a lot. So they want to go off-road, off beaten tracks. Well off the beaten track means, what is the meaning of this phrase or this expression? Well off the beaten track means really far, well off, off, away from something. Well off, really away from or really far from the main roads is well off the beaten track. And the last example is, it's called a beaten track because armies used to march to the beats of drums, and whichever road or track they used a lot became a beaten track. So we saw that the other day. We saw some examples. Before, all roads they were not called roads, they were called tracks. They came to be known as paths. Alright, so It's a beaten track, and that's one fact. That's one reason why it's called a beaten track, and the other reason is that it's beaten. When you walk on it, you beat it with your feet. So before there was no tie, all the roads were the mud roads or stone roads, so they became smoother as you walked on them. The more you walked on them, the smoother they became. And beaten tracks, beaten paths. All right. Matter of fact, idiom and phrase. All right, idiom. As it so happens, used to emphasize or stress on a point, on something that you've already said, or something that is a fact and you want to emphasize on it. You want to stress that particular fact. Let's look at some examples. As a matter of fact, I went out yesterday. I could have just said, or the speaker could have just said, I went out yesterday. But there's a conversation going on and he's talking to someone and he wants to emphasize that he actually went out yesterday. As a matter of fact, I went out yesterday. As a matter of fact, I know her. Again, want to emphasize that I do know her. As it so happens, my sister and I are best friends. As a matter of fact, my sister and I are best friends. Again, you want to emphasize on a point, on a fact, on something that you are saying or you've already said and you want to say it again, but more strongly this time. And the last example is, as a matter of fact, I shout out loud. So he's trying to say that though others think he's speaking softly, he's actually shouting out loud. Excellent. That's an excellent sentence. Alright, let's go on to part C, tips on writing well. Alright, so as I discussed this with you the other day, writing with feelings is very important, with your emotions. Right, so that way it gets really easy to use phrases, idioms, etc. and make a powerful essay or a paragraph or letter, whatever you're writing. You have to have some emotion. That way it gets a lot easier to write and it's a lot easier for the other person to understand as well, and it's much more interesting. Okay, so most people write mechanically. What's the meaning of that? So they write like mathematics. They try to remember some formulae, or they try to remember there's some stuff, some phrases they study, and they try to put it there in a very non-emotional manner, in a very cold manner. So that's why they struggle to write. So you're just beginning to write, so better start the correct way. So like songs, poems, essays and paragraphs also have feelings. They must have feelings. I mean, otherwise it's very dry and uninteresting. Nobody wants to read it if it's dry and uninteresting. So writing is nothing but expressing your emotions, your feelings, and the more you write emotionally, that is with emotions, with feelings. Does not mean you have to cry or something like that. We're not talking about strong negative emotions, nothing like that. Just emotionally let it flow out of you, out of your mind, out of your thoughts, and you will get better at it. So any language is what? Just getting your feelings across, just getting your information across with feelings. That way it is much better understood by others, and it gets easier to write. So that's all for today. Watch this video, rewatch it, see all the phrases, the idioms, and see how you use them in the sentences, and try to construct sentences of your own. And that's the way you'll get much better at writing. All right, thank you so much. See you next week. Bye bye.